Just as the conflicts within the criminal underworld in Novigrad provided some highly memorable secondary quests in Witcher 3, a myriad of gangs will feature prominently in Cyberpunk 2077. The Cyberpunk 2020 sourcebooks provide CDPR with an extensive corpus of material for inspiration, and no doubt they will also make their own additions to the narrative. Often when one uses the word gang, it is associated with negative connotations. This will not always be the case in Cyberpunk 2077. Remember, one of the core values of Mike Pondsmith's Cyberpunk is that the traditional concepts of good and evil are replaced by the values of expedience. You do what you have to do to survive. Cyberpunk gangs range from violent killers with full-on cyberpsychosis to those with a common goal of simply keeping the peace. In Cyberpunk, booster gangs, or boosters, are street gangs which fall into distinct types. Chromatic metal gangs center their activities around their favorite rock bands and interpret song lyrics as orders from their heroes. Most chromatic rock gangs are into random acts of violence as a means of expression, such as the Steel Slaughter Slammers. In contrast, the Silver Slash have more laudable ambitions. Night City welcomes numerous visitors, many of whom are not streetwise on arrival, making them ideal targets for boosters. The Silver Slash take it upon themselves to protect these visitors. This approach has earned them acceptance from the Night City police and local businesses, who prefer their non-lethal approach in contrast to Arasaka security. Combat gangs are centered around a type of warrior's code. Elaborate combat rituals, ranks, and body armor are all parts of the mystique. A typical combat gang are the Maelstrom, who were featured in the Cyberpunk 2077 demo at E3. Their members dress in leather and chrome, preferring cyberwear with high visibility. Most already have cyberpsychosis. Another gang, the Sacred Blades, prefers machete-style blades. Though perhaps based on a stereotype of Amerind culture, the gang is multi-ethnic in nature. One of the beliefs of the gang is the purification of the heart and mind, often through hallucinogen abuse. While some blades do carry cyber weapons, it is deemed dishonorable to use these except in an emergency. Combat gangs generally have no socially redeeming features. Family gangs are a form of extended family which protect runaway children, for example the Brady Bunch, a reference to the American family sitcom, are highly territorial and fiercely protective of their members. Cult gangs consist of zealots who dedicate themselves to a specific ideology. For example, Inquisitors believe that cyberware is blasphemous, consequently they are hostile to anyone with cyberware. The Brainiacs, as the moniker suggests, focus on upgrading their knowledge through cybernetics. It is said that those at the upper level of the gang are similar to computers, hovering on the edge of cerebral cyberpsychosis. Brainiacs prefer using elaborate schemes to deal with enemies over direct confrontation. In addition, because of their talents, it has been known for corporations to hire Brainiacs as problem solvers. Party gangs, unsurprisingly, partake in orgies, use drugs, and mug people for amusement. Notable examples include the Piranhas and the DJs. The DJs are a pack of wannabe rocker boys without the prerequisite musical talent. They typically inhabit the music scene selling bootleg music chips or fake autographs. This gang rarely poses a physical threat, but may end up emptying your pockets. Prankster gangs range from the benign and harmless Philharmonic vampires to the dangerous and sadistic bozos. Bozos have biosculpted themselves to resemble killer clowns, with many of them firmly in the grip of cyberpsychosis. With pranks being of the macabre kind, such as locking a victim in a small space filled with ravenous rats, or trapping someone in an elevator which slowly fills with sewage. Bozos also implant themselves with small explosive charges which are rigged to heartbeat monitoring devices so that they can essentially go out with a bang. The Philharmonic vampires earned their moniker when 5 members clad in tuxedos, capes and vampire teeth created a commotion during the Night City Symphony on Halloween night. To some they are artists, to others social commentators, and to their victims common hoodlums. Hate gangs are composed of young males united around racial supremacy, such as the Red Chrome Legion, who will attack anyone who do not share their beliefs. Poser gangs try to emulate someone famous. It could be a movie star, a historical figure, or even fictional characters. Posers adopt the clone look for protection, identification, and impact. Imagine being in a room with 9 clones of your favourite anime character, or having to fight a dozen JFKs. Poser gangs include the Willow Sisterhood, a group of young women who are deadly as they are beautiful. These members sculpt themselves to resemble the most beautiful women from the past and present, fictional and real. Many sisters are also mistresses or bodyguards to powerful corporates and fixers. Self-defense gangs are peaceful groups who formed out of the need to defend themselves from a persistent and dangerous threat. A fine example is the Juilliard, a collective term for street performers in Night City who are often resented by the urban poor. Constantly harassed and attacked, they banded together to defend themselves. Dorfer gangs are drug dealers and addicts, such as the Wild Things. Membership requires developing a certain reputation on the street for drug use, therefore members tend to be experienced and resilient. Perhaps one of the most controversial gangs are the Voodoo Boys, a terrorist gang with ritual magic overtones. Its modus operandi is primarily selling drugs to university students. Sadistic, they will kill, torture and rape for no reason at all. Victims will sometimes be warned with chicken blood and feathers on their doorstep. Their motives and practices have no consistency. Mutilating and maiming victims is common, as is dissecting their body parts for rituals or to inspire terror. I am Kazuliski, and I hope you found this succinct discussion on the gangs that may be featured in Cyberpunk 2077 to be informative. Thank you for watching.